live. And let me tell you what, it is early here for us here for at least for me here in Arizona, I should say. It's 6:15 in the morning. And honestly, I have to apologize. I wanted to get this review out so much earlier than I've been able to. But work this week has just been next level insane. I didn't get home last night, so I started work at 7 a.m. yesterday, and I did not get home until 7:30 at night. I don't want any sympathy from you guys or anything. I figured I'd give you facts, but I wanted to be able to get this out to you guys. What time is it? Is it here? So, Evie, right now it is 6:17 a.m. 6:17 a.m. So it is early, and I have to be to work in about an hour and 15 minutes. So luckily, my work is about a minute down the road. So good, happy days. But let's go ahead and let's introduce my guest for today. You guys already know him. You guys already love him, Mr. Matthew McFadden. How you doing?
I'm doing really good. I think I'm in a slightly better situation than yourself, not having to wake up at like 6 a.m. But oh well, that's the dedication that you get in this channel.
That's right. Listen, I should have done this a lot earlier. I should have gone live at 5:30 on Tuesday. I should have. You know what? I do not love him. Craig said he doesn't love you, Matthew. Just thought I'd let you know. So, Luca, my job, I am a commissioning agent, which is basically I go around the country and I start up data centers all throughout the country. We start up their critical equipment, UPS systems, generators, switch banks. We do a lot of different stuff. I'll share a picture of something that we were doing the other day, so you guys can get an idea of it. But I'll post that on Twitter, so that way you guys can kind of get an idea of what we do. So it is kind of crazy. But guys, let's go ahead. Let's jump into this. Manchester United had a huge win against Chelsea, and I didn't get the chance to watch the match until after I got home from work. So it was like 5:30 at night by the time I was finally able to really watch the match on something that wasn't on my phone. Like, I watched the match on my phone, but it's kind of hard to follow everything on your phone. I'm willing to bet most of you would agree. But Matthew, give me your initial thoughts on the match as a whole. I mean, I wasn't worried. Like, I was worried after the initial lineup, but after the match started, I wasn't worried at all.
Yeah, I think I'd say the same as you. I don't want to, toot my own horn here, but in the preview, I think I said first half we'll just get like 1 or 2 goals, and from the second half we'll just defend. And I think that's exactly how it went, to be honest. There's something about this team that's just set up so well to play big teams away from home.
I mean, you're not wrong.
It's probably because of how well we do in the counter, because like there's no one who you don't want more running at your defence than Paul Pogba. And when you've got him and then you've got all the pace up front running straight at your defence, I mean, you're not really going to handle it too many times, to be honest. And I think away from home, we're just set up to do that so well. And yeah, the Chelsea game, like people say, oh, Hazard had a really good game. He got involved a lot, but his end product was just absolutely non-existent.
Yeah.
And I think really that was what let Chelsea down. Terrible, terrible finishing.
And realistically, I mean, Hazard was a non-factor. Yeah, like you said, he kind of was involved in some of the build-up and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, is that really what's important, the build-up? I'm pretty sure the final product is what matters. Which, by the way, I thought I'd say, hey, David, it's good to see you live with us. I'm happy to see all you guys live with us. Which, by the way, I have to ask, what do you guys think of the retro kit? Came in on Tuesday, and I've been looking forward to wearing this. Which, by the way, you already know who's on the back. It's that man. It's that man, Cantona. You already know. We love Eric Cantona on the channel. We do. Because he's the one that started this whole let's get Mourinho out thing, if I remember correctly. So we give lots and lots of credit to Mr. Eric Cantona. But Matthew, you bring up another fantastic point too about Paul Pogba. People are starting to talk about the fact that Manchester United are a one-man team with Paul Pogba. Guess what? Okay. I'll take a one-man team of Paul Pogba absolutely destroying everybody on the pitch, because that's exactly what he did in that first half. There was no doubt in my mind that he was the best player on the pitch. And just to talk about that inch perfect cross to Ander Herrera for that first goal. I mean, Matthew, I watched it out on my phone. I was even like, holy crap. Like, that was amazing.
Yeah, it wasn't even just Pogba's crosses. It was Rashford's second one.
Rashford's cross was amazing too.
Yeah, like both absolute pinpoint crosses from opposite sides of the pitch. It was like a carbon copy of each goal, really. But yeah, Pogba on that day as well as Herrera was just unbelievable. I'm sure the match ratings will show for that.
Oh, man. Honestly, match ratings are going to show a lot for everybody on the team, because everybody.
Except one player.
I mean, Lukaku was okay.
I like how you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Lukaku was okay, but he wasn't good by any means whatsoever.
I think he was a bit quiet.
And Nick Archer, I think almost everybody in this chat will agree with you. Ander Herrera should be captain. Like, the way that he is a leader on the team. And don't get me wrong, I'm still all for David De Gea. Paul Pogba being the captain, and then Ander Herrera being kind of co-captain. But to me, if you were to say, hey, we're giving Ander Herrera the captaincy, I'd be like, hell yeah. Give that to me all day long. But, I mean, Matthew, we kind of talked about it on the last show, but, I mean, talking about Romelu Lukaku's performance, do you think that he's warranted a longer stay at Manchester United after that performance, or are you thinking that it really is time for him to go?
I don't really think it proved anything for him, to be honest. Like, it was just a really quiet game in general, but you know what? I'd rather have 10 really good players on a day and one bad player than Lukaku affecting the rest of the team, per se. But I'm still in the mindset of just get rid of him as long as we can get a good striker as a backup. But I don't really think, I was going to say yesterday, I don't really think Monday really taught as much.
And, you know, you do bring up a decent enough point there, Matthew. I mean, if we brought in a decent backup striker, I mean, the rumors are obviously out there about Big Luke going to Juventus or going to Inter in the swap deals that we talked about. But, you know, I think that ultimately it is time for Big Luke to move on. It is. It sucks. But Pancash, good to see you in here, man. Let's real quick. I did want to talk. David Trainer asked who had the better cross, Paul Pogba or Marcus Rashford. Who are you going to pick?
I kind of like Rashford's technique, where it was kind of like a knuckleball cross. Where for like the first half of the second, the ball looked like it was going to go straight into, you know, the Emirates Stadium, and then it just dipped so much into Pogba. So I kind of like that, but at the same time, both crosses were just unbelievable.
See, and for me, I like Paul Pogba's better.
I think Chris brings up a good point that under Mourinho, when did we really score that much from crosses? And we've just seen 2 inch-perfect crosses in one game.
Yep. 100%. And listen, what the funny thing is that the guy that we were talking about, Romelu Lukaku, the guy that should be getting on the end of crosses like that, and I know Craig will agree with us, the guy that should be getting on the end of those kind of crosses in Romelu Lukaku was nowhere near the box on both of those goals. Nowhere near the box. And I was just confused. It's almost like there's a lack of effort. And it's kind of sad to see, because you would think that it's like the one thing that he'd be doing is going out there and putting in 100% effort. That's just me, though, Matthew. I was surprised to see Lukaku like basically be behind Pogba on a run into the box, and then he was far behind Rashford on a run into the box. Like, I don't know, man. For me, I mean, I've already been hard on Romelu Lukaku, but at this point, I'm just almost starting to be like, you know what? I just think that he realizes he's not a part of the future of the team, and he's trying to save himself for the next year.
yeah, he just doesn't look like he wants to play anymore. So, it's just sort of whatever with Lukaku, really. We know that we're not going to get a 10 out of 10 performance from him. We might occasionally get a goal, might occasionally get a nice pass, but on the whole, I mean, it's like playing with 10 players, really. And it just seems like he's going to continue that for the rest of the season.
We can only hope, right? I mean, as long as we've Marcus Rashford and Paul Pogba are him and then add an Ander Herrera to that, they're probably going to get our top 3 ratings because of the movement that they created. It was causing so much problems for Chelsea.
Yeah.
Like it just genuinely was. And then there was I wanted to read Doug's comment. He said, "Look at the moment for his goal." Looked like Lukaku was the movement. Look at the movement for his goal. Looked like Lukaku was jogging / walking, not eager to get into the box. Whereas Pogba saw the cross coming in and scored. I mean, Pogba was honestly one of the fastest guys on the pitch when he decided, guess what? I need to get into the box, and that header was perfect. And I do agree with you, Matthew. Both techniques for both goals were phenomenal. But you can pick and choose whichever. End of the day, we got 2 phenomenal headed goals in the same game. Something that, like Craig said, we would never ever see under Mourinho. It's just the truth. But Maria, it's good to see you. Happy to see you. But let's go ahead, Matthew. Let's kind of start talking about some news that's out there right now. It's looking like Manchester United might have finally killed Maurizio Sarri, at least from some of the rumors I'm seeing. Do you think, and this is all an opinion question, do you think that Maurizio Sarri should be kept on and players should be sold? Or do you think that he should be fired and the player power at Chelsea should continue on?
You know what? On one hand, I'm kind of annoyed that Sarri didn't get sacked after that game because I think about 3 weeks ago when the FA Cup draw came out, I said we're sacking Sarri in 18, and that happened. And I thought he's going to go, but unfortunately he didn't. So that's a little bit annoying. But I think the problem with Chelsea is, as long as you've got that core of players, where you've got like the Eden Hazards, you've got David Luiz, those kind of players are always going to dominate things in terms of what happens at the club. Because Roman Abramovich, obviously, he's not even allowed in the UK anymore. He has almost little to no say in things whatsoever now. And any manager that goes into Chelsea should know that he's going to be there for a maximum, if he does absolute wonders, for 3 years. So at any point, the players can just say, right, we don't like this guy. We're not going to play well for him whatsoever, and let's get him sacked. But on another hand, I think Sarri's sort of causing his own downfall here. When you've got your 2 best players who are N'Golo Kante and Eden Hazard, and you're playing them in completely different roles to what they normally play in, then it's your own fault you're getting these terrible results.
Yeah, and it's something which, by the way, I do want to say this: the fact that Chelsea is addressing their own transfer rumors, that
was absolutely tragic.
What the heck is up with that, man? And the reason why I mentioned that
last season, and everyone was laughing at them, but why? I don't get it. Unless that's a hint that we're actually going to sign Bale here, then there's no chance of them putting out, or there's no logic in doing that. It just makes you even more laughable as a club, especially given the current results.
Yeah.
It's like social media suicide.
And there is something. The reason why I brought that up is because Jay Hart said, if we sign Bale, fire Woodward ASAP. And then he said, you know what, fire him regardless. But I mean, I've got mixed feelings on Ed Woodward because he has done good things for the club. He's obviously brought in Paul Pogba because it has come out that Mourinho basically did not want Pogba. And it's kind of amazing that Ed Woodward was like, no, this is one of the best players in the world. Get him into your team and make him work. And then, but if we bring in Bale, I'm all for being like, you know what? All right, I'm done. I can't do this anymore with Ed Woodward. Just make him the guy that's working on sponsorship deals, and that's it. Which I do hope we get a director of football in. And the rumors of Edwin van der Sar coming in to be the director of football make me very, very happy. I will say that. There was a comment here. Oh, so Jay Hart did say, I feel bad for Pulisic coming into a sinking ship. That is something that you and I talked about on a separate note, Matthew. The fact that Christian Pulisic could be coming into a team that the manager that he signed to play for isn't going to be there. And I kind of do feel bad for him, because if you're coming in because you believe in a guy's system, and then the guy's not going to be there, which it's looking like he's not going to be there. I mean, do you think that a player should be allowed to back out of a deal?
Not really. I mean, he signed a deal. It doesn't matter if he's still on loan at his former club or not. He's still technically a Chelsea player. He signed that contract, but I do kind of feel sorry for him. Like, you've signed for a club and you've chosen to, spend the last 6 months on loan at the club that you used to play for. But you've signed for a club that are notorious for sacking managers so quickly, and that player power is absolutely everything. Like, unless he becomes that kind of Eden Hazard figure or whatever, he's just going to be sort of in the sort of periphery of the squad, really, in terms of how much effect he has. So, yeah, I kind of feel sorry for him, but at the same time, he signed a contract. When you sign a contract with a club, you should know about the club, know about how they operate, and that's something that you should have thought of. Or maybe he has thought of, maybe he's thought, yeah, I'm signing regardless, but if he's not thought of it, then it's a bit of a stupid move. But yeah, I think when teams sign players, then those players should know exactly what's going on, or exactly how said club operates.
Which that he does know it, and I almost wonder if Christian Pulisic viewed coming to the Premier League as a new challenge, and then at the same time, I mean, maybe he thought that. I mean, it's very possible. There was rumors that Manchester United might have been in for Christian Pulisic, but maybe he wants to come in and prove himself in the Premier League and then try and move on to somebody else. I mean, I don't know. You never know what players are thinking. And for me, I mean, especially for somebody that's of Christian Pulisic's age, I would not have signed for Chelsea, because Chelsea historically tend to not play players of his age. It's just the truth. Like, they tend to not play players that are in their, late teens to early 20s. So I wouldn't even be surprised to see them loan him out again next year, because that just seems like something that Chelsea would do.
Kevin does, to be honest.
So,
like, if they're keeping Willian as well, I mean, what are they doing?
Yo,
what are they doing?
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Yeah, I mean, if they keep him for another year, then the chances are the new manager's going to have to play him, and then Pulisic is sort of thinking, right, I'm on a bench here. I'm a 21-year-old American international, and I'm getting benched by this guy. What am I doing here? So, who knows? Maybe in about a season's time, we might see him looking for a move.
I mean, I know a club that would be a good one to pick him up, but I mean, I might just be crazy, but it's definitely Bayern Munich. It's definitely Bayern Munich. But but Matthew, you know what? The best way to continue talking about the Chelsea match is let's get into our match ratings. So we start off Sergio Romero. It was honestly, for me, not surprising to see him start. I think we were all expecting him to. How did you rate his performance yesterday?
I'm not going to lie, he actually had a very good game. Like, there was that double save from, I think it was David Luiz, and then Pedro, I want to say. Not 100% sure on that, though. Like, don't get me wrong, the shots weren't like top corner or anything, but he did well to actually save them and not to parry them straight into an opposition attacker.
Yeah.
As well as that, I think he made one or two other decent saves, so all round a good game for him. I'd be kind of tempted to give him an 8, but I think 7's probably more of a solid rating for him.
And I think that an 8, considering the fact that it probably would be a 7 if he was to have given up a goal, but I give him an 8 for keeping the clean sheet. And that double save actually was pretty good. I will say that. Which, by the way, guys, if you want to have your match ratings read out, get them in the chat now, and I will read them out for you. I do love this comment from Doug, my stat man. He said, Mauricio Sarri is Chelsea's 13th manager in 15 years. 13 managers in 15 years is insane. That just says everything you need to know about the club, though.
I think it might be a case of Allegri from Juventus goes to Chelsea at the end of this season or the start of next season, and then Zidane goes to Juventus. I think that's going to turn out that way.
I can see it.
What was it? Frank Lampard's been mentioned.
I've seen Frank Lampard as well because he's doing so well at Derby.
Yeah, but then again, he's only been in management for just over half a season. It's a massive risk.
They're just trying to steal what Manchester United did. That's all, Matthew.
Yeah, exactly. Take a risk with only going to Solskjaer, and it seems to have worked out so far. So, it can be done.
Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's get people's ratings. So David Trainer said 7. Jay Hart said I give 8 for Romero. Made a couple of good saves. Lucas said Romero 8, best backup keeper in the world. Pankaj said Romero 8. Doug did say Sergio Romero is the best backup in the PL for sure. Vandy said 7, -1 for messy hair. David is always well set with his hair. Listen, okay, I get it. That's fair. David,
that's one thing I want to bring up, right? Does anyone else think Romero looks completely different? Like, I know it's a slight change of hairstyle, but he looked like a different person. I don't know what it was. It's like he just woke up in the morning and thought, yeah, I'll just turn up to a match like this.
He was going for that bedhead. He was going for that legit bedhead.
Like me, but
I mean, that's fair. It is like you, Matthew. I mean, that is true. I mean, I know you wake up and you're like, you know what? I look good today. That's what you do every day. We already know, Matthew.
Fortunately, not everyone can feel that way, but unlucky.
Unlucky. Because even this beard takes a lot of work to get into place, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. If you had seen me when I first woke up this morning, this was over here. This was like this way. Like it was craziness. There was all sorts of craziness in this area. But let me see here. Nick Archer said Romero 9 for another clean sheet. His clean sheet record is amazing. Truly the best number 2 keeper in the world, which I actually think that is very fair to say that he might be the best number 2 keeper in the world, which also surprises me that he doesn't want to move on and try and be a starter somewhere else. But, I mean, in fairness, if you're getting paid by Manchester United, what you'd be getting paid as a starter at other places, I mean, why not just sit on the bench and be the best backup keeper in the world? I mean... That's just me. Jay Hart, you stop it. Stop it. He said John Terry's free. No. We're not playing games like that, okay?
If we had Jose Mourinho in charge, you bet that would be a headline.
Oh, 100%. We probably would have brought him in January. I am almost willing to bet we would have brought him in January. But, Matthew, we move on to the guy that our man, George Kyle, is called an oxygen thief in the past. And, I think that that's a little bit excessive. I mean, I obviously, think that he should not be starting for Manchester United. But, I mean, Ashley Young had an okay performance on Monday. What did you think of him?
Yeah, he actually had a decent game. And he seems to do this in the big games as well. Like, as absolutely horrendous as he is, for some reason, he turns into a competent defender when up against a high-profile player. And Hazard, he got the ball quite a lot, but at the same time, when you're going to get the ball quite a lot, of course you're going to get past your man once or twice. But for the whole game, I think he had a decent performance, and I think that's one of the most surprising things about this game. I wouldn't say it was like a great performance or whatever, but a very solid 6 out of 10.
I think it was an average performance. I think that that's the best way to put it. Putting it in comparison with his previous performances and how bad he's been, I think that an average performance is what he put in, and that's a 6 out of 10. Like, obviously, they did not score, which automatically for me means that You added something. You at least did something to stop. So you know what? Actually, I'll give him a 6.5. I don't like to give the half ratings, but I'll say he would have gotten a 5.5 if it wasn't for the clean sheet. So we'll give him a 6.5 for the clean sheet. That obviously that's probably a little bit, excessive saying that he was below average, but he was. I mean, he's Ashley Young. I mean, we all have talked about it. He goes missing way too often for Manchester United, and then finally in the big matches he'll show up, and it's like, why don't you just be that player, every match? And if you're not going to be that player every match, then we should be starting Delo in the lower matches, and then starting Ashley Young against every single big opponent, because apparently he's just going to put in a shift. So, yeah. So Ashley Young, 6.5 for me. So David Trainer said 6. Vandy Candy said 7. Still needs to go as soon as possible, which, I mean, he's here till next year no matter what. So, I mean, Lucas said Young was okay, 7. Jay Hart said a 5 for me. Would have been a 6, but he got that stupid yellow. Nick Archer said we're never going to let Griezmann go. Oh, so you're talking about Antoine Griezmann. Okay, yeah, no big deal. Danny Ogden said 7. We need to go get Wan-Bissaka, which I am 100% in favor of going and getting somebody like Aaron Wan-Bissaka from Crystal Palace. I think that could be a phenomenal signing. Pancake said Young 5. He isn't good enough. Wouldn't get into any top team in Europe, which you're probably not wrong about that. Nick Archer said Young 7 for me. He did well, especially against Hazard. Reaper, thank you for coming right in with the ollies at the wheel. I love it, baby. I love it.
That's all you could hear in the last 20 minutes of the game, and that's all you could hear in the stadium.
Yep. Oh, dude, our away support, Matthew. That's Matthew. Our away support is the reason why I want to go to an away match. Like, I've heard there is nothing like going to an away match for Manchester United. Like, it's just next level.
Fans really like it.
But
home games are one thing because obviously you're in the majority of the fans and the atmosphere is absolutely mad. But to be in that small space of fans with about 1,000 or whatever like-minded fans just signing your faces off for 90 minutes must be just something else.
I would be one of those guys singing for all 90 minutes. That's the reason why I really hope I can get over in September. Be able to go to an away match. Like, even if I just got to only go to a home and an away match, I would be more than happy with that. Which, by the way, Doug did say, let's all agree that $71.9 million on Kepa has truly been the worst signing of the summer for sure. Probably at the moment that's true, but Chelsea's defense is also absolute crap. Like, David Luiz was just awful. Like, their entire back line was basically awful yesterday on both goals. So I don't necessarily put the goals on. Like, the second goal that Pogba headed in and Kepa couldn't keep a strong hand, that's one where David De Gea would have saved it. That's the difference between a world-class keeper and you're good, but you're not great. Like, that's the best way to put it. David De Gea is the best keeper in the world because if he got a hand to that, it's being parried away, 100%.
I don't get what the hype about him is. 71 million for what? Like, there must be a reason why his team finished something like 16th in the Spanish league last season.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it probably was him.
Yeah, probably was.
But you know what, Matthew? I mean, we could talk about it for just a second. I mean, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. We know we've got Diogo Dalot on the bench, but would you bring in Aaron Wan-Bissaka to play right back as well?
I think 1,000,000% would.
That's good to hear.
Realistically, what other right back is out there that we actually have a chance of getting?
None that are of a top quality like that. Like, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is a top quality right back, and I think coming to a bigger competition would be perfect. bring him in. And being realistic, Delo can actually play left back or right back. Like, that's the truth. Like, Delo can play left or right. And we saw him play well on the left in Luke Shaw's absence, and we've seen him play well on the right. So, I mean, I'm fine with any of it, you know? And Moata's saying Obi-Wan will be one of the best in the world. You know, if he comes to Manchester United, I guess we'll find out. You know, I like the guy. I would bring him in 100%. Yes, like 100%. Yes. But Matthew, you know what? We're not here to talk about transfer rumors. We're here to talk about Manchester United and their match against Chelsea. So we move on to Chris Smalling. How did you see Chris Smalling do?
I'm not going to lie, right? Chris Smalling had an absolute stormer of a game.
He did.
I don't remember, apart from that one header by Higuain, I don't remember any sort of cross that found his man. And from your two defenders, you're relying on Chris Smalling to stop that. He just had a really, really good game. I think it was, even though I might rate Lindelof and Smalling both the same in terms of this game, I think Chris Smalling did better than what we expected of him. So in terms of rating, I give him 8.
I mean, I would say for being like his second match back, I would probably agree with you on that. Like, for what we expect. I mean, but here's the thing. I think a lot of people don't rate Chris Smalling as highly as they probably should. Because being realistic, Chris Smalling is actually a decent center back. I'm not saying he's world class by any means.
In terms of like proper defending dispossession, he's probably even the best player in the team, but he just doesn't really offer much apart from that. Like, to be fair, he can score a few goals a season, but in terms of his pace, he's not really too quick. He's not that great in the ball. He can't really pass that often. So in terms of other stuff like that, which is probably what Ole kind of prefers in a defender, like we've seen with Lindelof and how often he's played, Smalling doesn't really offer that. But in terms of just pure defending, he's actually a pretty good centre back.
Yeah, he's a pure defender. Like, he can't play from the back. Like, that's the truth of it. He can't really play from the back. And
if this was still the 1990s and you had teams like Wimbledon just going route one, Chris Smalling would be a top quality centre back.
Yeah,
because that's all you need, that no nonsense approach.
And I like Chris Smalling, and I do hope that he stays as a backup for a long time, because he's the perfect guy to be able to throw out there when you need somebody. He really is. Like, he is the perfect guy to throw out there when you need somebody. So for me, I'm going to give Chris Smalling, you know what? I'll give him an 8-2, Matthew, because I think that the one thing that Chris Smalling is he is a threat in the air, especially in the attacking sense. Like, don't get me wrong, defensively, there was that point where he ripped the Chelsea player's jersey, and you know, you can make the argument that maybe that could have been a penalty. But, you know, at the same time, I mean, if it's not caught and he doesn't get, if it's not given, I mean, I would, let me put it this way. I don't want Chris Smalling starting against Liverpool, but I also think that if he did, that I wouldn't be like worried in terms of the defensive sense. I think that he'd be okay, because we're not really worried too much about Liverpool, you know, putting in like big sweeping overhead crosses. And we know that if they did, Chris Smalling can actually defend those out. Like I said, I'm not Chris Smalling. I'm not like super pro Chris Smalling for starting, but I mean, if he did, I'm not worried. That's all. So let's go ahead. Let's get your guys' ratings for Chris Smalling. So David Trainer said 7. Smalling gets a sorry, guys. It's been raining here the last few days, so my cough has been really up. Smalling gets a consistent 7. Always dependable, that lad, said Jay Hart. Vandy Candy said Smalling 7. It was comfortable. Smalling's hair gets a 9, and his defense gets a solid 8. That's pretty good. 7 for Mike Smalling. Smalling is a decent defender, but he can't play football, which I actually think that's basically what we've been saying, Matthew, is he's a good defender, but he's not necessarily a, quote unquote footballer.
It's kind of like what Romelu Lukaku was at Everton. Like he'll get you loads of goals, but doesn't really offer much apart from that. And you just switch it into the pitch around and you get Chris Smalling.
Sounds pretty real, doesn't it? Like it's almost like you could say that that's a good analogy.
Mm-hmm. It is. It could be.
It could be.
Watch out, which that's all I'm saying.
It could be. We're Matthew making his way to Sky Sports News here soon, guys. Just so you know. Let's see here. So guys, it's Smalling 8. He was very solid. If anyone noticed, he won a lot of headers against Chelsea. Yeah, we did notice. Trust me, we did notice. Doug said Chris Smalling once again. Once scored an own goal at Stamford Bridge on his debut for Fulham. He was immense the other night. So 8 from Doug, and then it looks like that's everybody. So Matthew, we move on to Victor Lindelof, who Victor Lindelof keeps being Mr. Iceman. What do you give him?
Again, I give him an 8 out of 10. Once again, he's put in a brilliant performance that he can't really criticize him for. So 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
But, it's a short review, but, you can't really say much more about
it. But, in all reality, you don't need to say much more. He was exactly what we needed him to be. And
we've come to see that since all he's coming.
Let me put it this way. Victor Lindelof is basically becoming the consistent ball-playing center back that we need. He's becoming exactly that, and he has become exactly that under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. For me, I look at him, and I'm like, that is the one guy that outside of Pogba, Rashford, and De Gea, I would say are guaranteed starts week in, week out, without a question. So that's just my opinion, but I love Victor Lindelof and I love what he's doing for the team. So for me, I give him an 8 as well. Solid, did everything needed of him. Love the guy. So let's go ahead. Let's get into your guys' ratings. So David Traynor said 9. He passed out from the back brilliantly, drove us forward. Then he had so many last-ditch challenges. That is definitely true, David. Jay Hart said solid 8 for Lindelof. Vandy Candy said Lindelof 8. They didn't have anything to do, which, yeah, you're pretty much right about that. Jay Hart said Higuain was too afraid to face that ice. Oh, yeah, he was. He's all about that ice. Victor Lindelof, he's all about that ice. And I'm not talking about drugs here, guys. I'm not talking about drugs. Stop it. Pankaz said Lindelof 8. He was very solid and was brilliant throughout. This season even under Jose was very good, and he is improving. Yeah, definitely, Pankaz. Nick Arch said Lindelof, the Iceman. Let it go. Frozen Chelsea forwards. He gets a 9. I like the little bit of I like the little bit of the Frozen song there. I appreciated that, Nick. Thank you. I give you that. I give you a golf clap for that one. So, Doug, maybe we'll talk about that another time because we kind of have to keep going through this review because I have to leave for work in about 30 minutes. So we're only on Victor Lindelof. So we move on from Victor Lindelof to the man Luke Shaw. We love that man Luke Shaw sometimes, and we definitely don't like him other times. Today, Monday, I really liked Luke Shaw. What do you give him, Matthew?
Yeah, I thought it was another solid game from him. He's been one of the most up and down players recently. You never know if he's going to have a 3 out of 10 game or a 9 out of 10 game. And it just seems to be either or. Yeah, it was just another very solid game. I think it was Pedro who was starting, and then Willian came on later, which must be absolute confusion for Callum Hudson-Odoi on another note. But yeah, again, another solid game from them. I didn't really see much from the right wingers, as well as Aspi as well in the right back position. So effectively, what we've noticed from him is that defensively he's improved in terms of his positioning, because that used to always be such an issue with his game. His positional sense would be awful, but we've just seen it a lot more recently, especially in that Chelsea game. So 7 out of 10 for me. Don't think he was quite as good or important as the centre backs, but still another really solid game.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I think it was a very solid game. I'm going to give him a 7. He's the one thing that he's continuing to try and work on and improve upon is getting forward more. And I think that we're kind of starting to see it more because defensively, I'm not like super worried about him anymore. Like I think that he can pretty much hold his own defensively. But what I'm worried about him in is his ability to get forward. And you really notice him more and more starting to get further and further forward. So for me, Luke Shaw, solid game, 7. Actually, Andrew, I cannot remember the name of the place at the moment. Matthew, do you remember the name of the place that Paul took us when we were in Manchester?
I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah, I don't either. Like,
I can tell you exactly what the place was like, but I couldn't tell you what the name was.
Yep, it's same with me. Same with me. Like, I'll ask him and I'll get back to you on that, Andrew. So let's go ahead. Let's get to your guys' ratings for Luke Shaw. So Lucas said Shaw 7. Jay Hart said Shaw also gets an 8. No threats whatsoever from the side, from that side. Vandy Candy said Shaw 8. They all had a nice night out with everything in front of them. Nick Archer said Cool Hand Luke gets an 8. Another one. You gave me a little bit of a chuckle there. So another golf clap. Pancas said Shaw 8. He was brilliant and defended so well. He is a fighter, which that's something actually we could talk about, Matthew. That last ditch tackle, the sliding tackle that he made to stop that, like basically, I think it was Higuain that would have been on the end of it, and he stopped him from being able to get the shot in. I mean, that was absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
I completely forgot about that. But yeah, that was. I think if Higuain would have got the ball there, he probably would have scored.
Yeah,
that was a match-saving tackle.
Yeah, definitely was.
Actually, to be fair, might even give Luke Shaw an 8 for that.
You know what? I'll do the same then, Matthew. I'll move it up to an 8. Like, I kind of had forgotten about that tackle, but then I was like, wait, he had that like goal-saving tackle. Like that to me is like exactly what a defender should be doing, is making great goal-saving tackles like that. So, we'll go above a golf clap for Luke Shaw. That's like a theater clap. That's a night out of theater, But I don't see any other ratings for Luke Shaw. So we'll go ahead. We'll move on from Luke Shaw to that man, Nemanja Matic. Listen, you can make the argument that maybe Matic should have been off with a red. I mean, maybe. But I don't know. I think that basically it was kind of nice to be able to have him out there and causing problems for Chelsea so frequently, because realistically, like, players were running past him, but he was also being a nuisance to Chelsea almost all game. So I give the guy a lot of credit. Roberto Beswick, good to see you, man. Happy to have you here live. Matthew, what do you give Nemanja Matic for today?
I'm kind of struggling for a rating, if I'm honest. But there was times where he looked really good. He was really getting in the opponent's faces. And then there was other times where you're thinking, right, you can get sent off here. And there was a good few times, especially in the second half. There was one particular challenge that I think he put in. I don't remember it like exactly how it happened. But as soon as I saw it, I thought, oh shit, he's going off here.
It was the one on Conte.
Yeah, that was it. Like, I kind of remember how it went, but I didn't remember who it was against or whatever. But yeah, I think in another game he probably might have got sent off, but he didn't, so let's not complain about that. So yeah, I don't think he was as good as the back four, or well, as most of the back four, really. I don't think he was quite as important, but he didn't really make any glaring errors as such, so I'd give him a 7 out of 10.
You know what? I like the 7 out of 10 because I think that he was a little bit above average. I think that overall, you can, like I said, you can make the argument that maybe he should have been sent off, but guess what? He wasn't. And overall, he was solid defensively. He was back to for the most part, back to the Ollie Nemanja Matic and not the Jose Mourinho Nemanja Matic. So we're always happy to have the Ollie Nemanja Matic in the lineup. So I will give Nemanja Matic a 7 as well. Let's go ahead. Let's get to your guys' ratings for Nemanja Matic, which I'm actually be really interested to see because I think that Matic is somebody that could split opinion on a day like today or a day like Monday. Sorry, I'm used to doing these the day after or the day of. So I apologize, guys. It's just habit. Pancake said Matic 7. J Hart said I give Matic a 7. Average performance and got lucky, but that was because the Chelsea midfielders were so bad. I mean that is fair. Roberto, yeah, I do feel bad for you guys that you guys. I mean, obviously we love Cristiano Ronaldo. You know, for me, he's the greatest player of all time. That's just for me personally. Nick, I do have a case of the Mondays, and it's Thursday, so that says a lot. That says a whole lot. But, you know, hopefully you guys bounce back. Let's just say that. Let's just hope you guys bounce back. Nick Archer said, Automatic made me nervous, but came through in the end. Jay Hart said, about time we had a referee on our side, though. I mean, that is fair. It does feel like we are often on the end of bad refereeing decisions. And even the last FA Cup match against Chelsea, I mean, not the last one. The one against Ander Herrera.
Where Hazard basically died way to suspension from Herrera.
Yep.
Shocking, so it was.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And I'm happy you knew exactly the match I was talking about. It was the one from a couple years ago, not the one from last season. Alok said Matic 6 doesn't look over his shoulder to check if someone's pressing from behind and ends up losing the ball. Otherwise, better under Ollie, which that is very true, Alok. Vandy said Matic 7. He is steady. Steady. It all evens up over a season. Kimpembe got lucky. And we got lucky with Matic, which, I mean, that's fair, Vandy. That is fair. Let's see here. I don't see anybody else's rating. So you know what? We move on to a midfield pairing that I'm just like, make them be starting every single match no matter what. We'll talk about Ander Herrera first. Ander Herrera, a man that is literally showed N'Golo Kante what he should be doing. You know, I feel bad for Conte because he should be playing as a CDM instead of Jorginho. But Ander Herrera showed everything that somebody like him in his position should be doing. What do you give Ander Herrera, Matthew?
Yeah, on that kind of part, I kind of feel sorry for Kante because it's obvious that he's not really getting played in a role that he has any clue of playing, to be honest. But yeah, back to Herrera. Absolutely unbelievable performance. I don't think there's been a single game where I'm going to rate two players a 10 out of 10, but this is the first of them, so I didn't really see him put a foot wrong whatsoever. Like, normally, sometimes in a big game, Herrera gets an early yellow card, and you think, oh no, where he's going to have to be the sort of safe Herrera who really doesn't offer too much compared to Herrera who's and he's plays that for about 80 minutes or so. So luckily he didn't get an early yellow cards, and I just didn't see him make a single mistake. Thought it was, inch perfect from today. Or not today, Monday. So,
now you're doing it too, Matthew.
I keep doing it all the time now. But yeah, 10 out of 10.
And funny enough, I'm going to be the same way. It's not very often you can do that, but Ander Herrera was good enough to deserve a 10 out of 10. He was breaking up the play, scored a goal. You know, he was all over the pitch. He made good passes. He was doing everything that you would need from somebody. And just, you look at the performance Ander Herrera put in, and that's what you would say is and should be a quote-unquote captain's performance. That should be a captain's performance. And Ander, to me, there's almost no player more deserving of the captaincy than Ander Herrera at the moment. So, Ander Herrera, you get a 10 out of 10. Congratulations, because you're probably going to have to do a man of the match with the other guy because both of you were absolutely phenomenal. So let's go ahead. Let's get to what your guys' ratings for Ander Herrera are. I mean, real quick, we have a little bit of we have a little bit of time, so we can talk about it. So Matthew, Ander Herrera, rumors that he's about to sign a 3-year contract extension from various reports. I mean, do you think that 3 years is the appropriate amount of time?
I think it's the perfect time, to be honest. Like, as good as he's been recently, I think he's 29.
Yep.
Or he's 28, just about to turn 29. So, that will keep him until he's 32 years old. And when you're at that age and that kind of position where you need so much energy, that's going to be the sort of make or break years, because some people can stay on and do really well past that age, like Steven Gerrard, Paul Scholes, Frank Lampard, and then other players just can't really do it once they reach that age. But I think Herrera seems to be that player who, even in his mid-30s or whatever, will still have that kind of longevity to him. So I think a 3-year contract, see how he does the next few years, and then sort of reevaluate things. But yeah, most important thing right now, just give him a new contract, make him captain as well.
And I agree with you 100%, Matthew. I think that going till he's 32 is like the literal appropriate amount of time. And then from there, you can give him 1-year contracts after that if you choose to keep him on. I mean, it's basically what we've done with every single player that's been in that age range. So I just think it's very, very appropriate to only do the 3-year deal. So let's see here. Gotta find it. So Nick Archer said Herrera is the man. I think he is. He is the man. I think he gets a 10, which I think that we'd all agree with you. Jay Hart said a 10 and man of the match, deserves a 5-year contract, captaincy, a house, and a butler. Man, Jay Hart just giving Ander all the praise, which he deserves all of it. Let's be real. Pankaz said Ander 10. He has become a brilliant box-to-box midfielder. He is a leader. He is my captain. Love it, Pankaj. Vandy Candy said Herrera 9.5. Complete game, goal, captain's performance. Alok said Ander, I want to give him an 11. He knows it's what it's like to play for Manchester United, which I completely agree with. Andrew, the $1 billion man, said Mr. Exclusive. Love it, man. I love it. But I do not see any other ratings. So for me, we're moving on to the other guy that's going to share in the 10 out of 10 and get a co-man of the match performance. Matthew, Paul Pogba, how do you rate him?
See for like the whole 90 minutes, he was he was somewhat quieter compared to what we normally see. But everything that he did do just turned into absolute gold. So again, 10 out of 10.
Yep. 100%.
He got himself a goal, got himself an assist. Some people talked about his inability to really do it in the big games. Seems to have done it more than ever now, so can't really look away from a 10 out of 10.
No. I mean, it's a 10 out of 10. It is a 10 out of 10.
I expect Pogba is like consistent 7 out of 10 games. Maybe the occasional 8 or 9 or whatever, but consistent 7 out of 10 games where he's just playing solid every week. Mm-hmm. But he's not even doing that. He's putting in 8s, 9s, and 10s out of 10 every single week now.
He's putting in man of the match performances almost every week.
Yeah. But I don't know if this stat still stands, but I know that a couple of weeks ago, since Ollie took charge, no player in world football, or at least in the top 5 leagues or whatever, had contributed to more goals, and that includes Lionel Messi.
Yep. No, it still stands. It does still stand, Matthew. Sav, yeah, I thought you guys would like the classic kit today. I can't wait to get another one. I'll say that. I love the classic kit. But let's go ahead. Let's get to your guys' ratings, because there's nothing more you can say. But Paul Pogba, keep doing you, man. Because if Mourinho said you are the virus, then let me tell you what, you're the cure for everything that Ollie is. So I love you, Paul Pogba. There's a reason why I said that it was an honor to take a picture with you when I came over to from Manchester. Love you, dude. So Paul Pogba.
Getting a picture with him.
Yeah. That's his number one world-class performance of all time. Would you agree, Matthew?
Oh, hands down.
Yeah. Not
only took a picture with one person, took a picture with 2 people as well.
I mean, I can't believe that we got pictures with Paul Pogba, man. It just.
I mean, I technically got one with Sanchez as well, but he just walked off.
He saw your forehead, man, and he was like, I don't know if I could do it.
Compete.
But all right, so let's see here. So we go to Bandy Candy, first one to put said Pogba 10, our offensive linchpin. He did what he had to do in the final third, which is 100% correct. Jay Hart, I give Pogba 9.5, but that's because I rated Herrera better as man of the match. Nick Arch said Pogba 10. Nuff said dab time. You know what? We're not going to hit 15 likes on this one, but I'll hit the dab for Pogba anyways. Bam! We hit that dab for Paul Pogba. We love Paul Pogba. Let's see here. Pancake said Pogba 10. Pogba is our best player in the squad. He is our main man. He is focused. He is focused, and he is one of the best midfielders in the world, and has similar attributes to Frank Lampard. Listen, Paul Pogba to me is the best midfielder in the world. The best midfielder in the world. With that, and that's without question for me. You know,
the midfielder right now is doing better than Pogba.
Real Madrid are garbage.
Yep. Like they went on a good run recently, but got beat 2-1 at home by Girona. That's shocking, though. When did you see Man United do that? Or at least under Ole? Never.
No, never. And like Jay Hart said, if Pogba doesn't get voted for Player of the Month, the FA needs to have their eyes checked. And I completely agree with that. Saab also said that Pogba and Herrera both get 10s from me. But Matthew, I'm kind of starting to run out of time here, so let's kind of start burning through these last three attacking players. Let's start with Marcus Rashford. How do you rate Marcus Rashford?
Rashford, for me, I don't really think he had much of a goal threat, but for that cross alone, that was just one of the best crosses I've seen in ages. So for that alone, I give him an 8 out of 10. And he kept running channels all the time as well. I think he played on the right in the kind of front two of him and Lukaku, and was just infinitely better than what Big Ron was.
Yeah.
So 8 out of 10 for me.
I 100% agree with you, Matthew. I mean, I think 8 out of 10. It was a good performance. That cross was really good. And he caused a lot of problems for Chelsea. He did. So, I mean, Marcus Rashford, thank you for what you do for the team. We really do appreciate it, having somebody at that 9 position that does actually put in a good shift. So, let's go ahead. Let's see what you guys have to say about Marcus Rashford. Jay Hart said, I give Rashford an 8 just for that cross. Nick Arch said Rashi 9 just because. Sav said Rashi got an 8 for the cross and for running his heart out like always. Pancake said Rashford 8. He made a superb cross and made that cross look easy. Vandy Candy said Rashford 8. Cross and smart run across Alonso to leave Herrera unmarked back post, creating havoc in the Chelsea defense. Lucas said 7.5. Ollie's masterpiece, since we don't have proper wingers, he used all 3 attackers and rotated them. Shea Hart, that's spot on, man. Absolutely spot on. So let's go ahead. Let's move on to Juan Mata, who kind of played as a 10, false 9, something that we've been calling on this channel for a long time, something that a lot of people have been calling for a very long time. And he put in a pretty good performance. Matthew, how do you rate Juan Mata?
Yeah, the Void did well. He did well on Monday. Because of one reason, he didn't play out wide.
Yep.
It's as simple as that. So, I mean, he wasn't really as involved as likes of Herrera, Mata, Pogba, Rashford, those sorts of players, but still just a really sort of steady game, and he kind of did what's asked for him, really. So 7 out of 10 for me.
And honestly, I think that the 7 out of 10 is a very appropriate rating, considering the fact that he hasn't gotten above a 6, I think, on any of our shows. 7, and he was really distributing the ball well. You noticed him being able to press better from the middle of the pitch, and it's something that was very obvious that is something that needs to happen going forward. Basically, if Jesse Lingard isn't going to be playing in that kind of like false 9, 10 position, then it should be Juan Mata out there playing in that position at the moment. Because if he's playing at that position, I don't think there's very many people that can do that position better than Juan, even though he's lost a bit of pace. So Nick Archer said Mata 8, finally. Jay Hart said, I give Mata a 7. Surprise, surprise, he did well at the 10. Sav said false 9, played directly to Mata's strengths. 8 for me. Nick Arch said we need to find the right spot for Sanchez like we did Mata, which, Nick, I agree with 100%. Vandy Candy said Mata 7, sell him ASAP like Trashley. I mean, listen, I don't necessarily disagree that we shouldn't renew his contract, especially at the moment. But if he puts in a few more good performances, if we keep playing him at that 10, I'm more than fine with giving him a renewed contract if we keep playing him at that position. That's the only thing that I'll say is I don't want him on the right wing. Play him at the 10. Pankaj said Mata 7. He looked a much better player centrally, and that is his best position. And if we play him against Liverpool, he should play centrally and not on the right, which Pankaj 100% I agree. So we move on to our last player that we're going to give a rating for, Romelu Lukaku. I mean, we were talking about it earlier. It's got to be time for Big Rom to go. And I was somebody that was really excited to have him come in and play for Manchester United because I thought that if he could improve a little bit under Mourinho, then we were going to get a really good number 9, and he just has not improved. He just basically did what he did at Everton in his first year and just scored goals. And he hasn't improved off of that. So, Matthew, what do you give him?
I don't really think it was like a 0 out of 10 like he's put in sometimes.
No.
Recently. But he just didn't do anything again. Like, he didn't do anything, but he didn't do anything that bad. It was just a really quiet game. And I think the players are sort of starting to sense that, right, let's not really give Lukaku the ball too much compared to like other players like Mata, Pogba, or Rashford, or whoever else plays there. So yeah, I think in terms of a rating, 5 or 4, really. Like, it wasn't an absolute disaster because he didn't do anything on the ball that could have been a disaster as such.
Yeah. I mean, Matthew, I agree with you. I mean, he just puts in these performances when he starts of like, you're kind of like, meh. Like, we could have had so much better out there, but he didn't cost the team anything. I think that's the best way to put it. Like, there's been times in the past where he's cost the team chances at goals. He's cost the team other things. And it's just like, for me, I'm sorry, Rom, but you got to go. You just do. You've got to go. So I'm going to give him a 5. Hopefully he'll be able to put in some good performances throughout the rest of the year and make it so we have some decent backup on the bench. But in the summer, the man's got to go. Jay Hart said can't rate him any higher than a 5, which is saying much in a great performance from the team. Yeah, that is Jay Hart. Saab said Rom a 4 for me. Rance said it best. We're playing with 10 men when he's out there, which I agree with on Rance with that part. Pankaj said Lukaku 0. He is dead food, and my touch is way better than him. His hold up play, as we saw, is awful. Nick Arch said Lukaku 6 average. Luca said no point even rating Lukaku. He's just out of place every game. That's fair, Luca. That is very fair. Vandy Candy said big Rom machine 4. Let's see here. Anybody else? I don't see anybody else. So Matthew, loving the play for Manchester United at the moment. Final thoughts. Give me your final thoughts on the match.
Final thoughts. I just thought it was a routine win. Chelsea didn't look like a team that you'd normally associate Chelsea with being, and that's one of sort of Europe's elite.
Yep.
They're on an absolute free fall at the moment. I think Sarri, unless he completely abandoned what he is as a coach, is not going to last longer, and he shouldn't, because as Rance says what he is, he's a chain smoking Louis van Gaal. That's all he is. And like I said, like when you've got N'Golo Kante and Eden Hazard and you don't play them in their preferred positions and roles, it's your own fault. And don't get me wrong, like there's been some absolute howlers of individual performances as well, but I think most of that's down to Sarri.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Manchester United, we went out there and we outclassed Chelsea at a place that we have not been able to win in a very long time. And that's the truth of it. This is our first win there.
That's testament to 2 things: how good we've been so far and how bad Chelsea are.
Yeah, because
even in Mourinho's last season at Chelsea, he somehow, or he still managed to get like at least a draw against United.
Yeah, he did. We have not won at Stamford Bridge in a very long time, and we pulled out a big win with this man right here. This guy, let me move this a little bit more so you can see him better. This guy right here. You see him? This guy, he's in charge of this club, and he's doing an amazing job. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has his team playing on amazing levels, and I think that if we beat Liverpool on the weekend, there is no doubt in my mind that Ole will get the job full-time. There's not a doubt in my mind. I think they'll basically announce it the next day that he'll be getting the full-time contract. But guys, I'm going to tell you now, we've got a huge show planned over the weekend on Saturday for you guys. We're going to have 5 total people on the show, including myself, for the preview of Liverpool against Manchester United.
That's a starting point. You're going to be on your own channel. That's what we like to hear.
Listen, we do what we do on here, Matthew. We do what we do. But let's just hope that Manchester United can have a similar performance to what we just saw against Chelsea. And I think that with the way that Ole has this team playing, there's no doubt in my mind that we will compete in this match. We will compete. And I really do hope that we will have both Martial and Lingard back out there for this match, because I think that could be levels of what we could be better. So, Matthew, I'm gonna let you shout out whatever you want to shout out, but I'm kind of pointing to them right now. Right there. I hear you make something like these.
On Tuesday, I had a massive scare. I told you about it, and it was the biggest heart attack ever. I thought the store was taken down, but it wasn't. It was an ESC glitch. But yeah, also, what I'm going to say is, I think until either Monday night or Tuesday, I'm doing 20% off all Man United and Liverpool prints, obviously in light of the weekend's game. So if you want yourself a Man United poster, get in quite quickly. So there's no codes or anything; it will just appear 20% off.
There we go.
Head on down to that, offsidegraphics.com.
Offsidegraphics.com. It's in the description down there. Down there. Look down there. You'll see offsidegraphics.com. Go get a poster from Matthew because they're phenomenal. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry to kind of wrap this up quickly, but I have to be to work in 5 minutes. So, yikes. But genuinely, thank you all for joining us on this very early morning stream. And it's 7:24 a.m. here. I hope that you guys all have a great rest of your day. If it's nighttime where you're at, I hope you have a great night. And guess what, guys? Keep doing you, because I love you guys, and you guys are awesome. Great match, Manchester United.